Okay, let's talk about bluffing. I mentioned it during the mini hours challenge that this is the city where I bluff the most. So, in the midst of Keep Track Week, I'll kind of compare it to like Elsinore, Vegas, and here. I didn't bluff much, I said that, in Lake Elsinore. Why? Whoa, what the holy mother? Well, I don't even know where that pigeon was. Scared the crap out of me. All right, so at least it wasn't a bat. All right, leaving all that in because that was great. I said that in Lake Elsinore. Why? Whoa, what the holy mother? I said that in Lake Elsinore. Why? Whoa, what the holy mother? I said that in Lake Elsinore. Why? Whoa, what the holy mother? So, Lake Elsinore, they will hang on to fourth pair to the death. It makes the games great, but if you're going to think a lot about bluffing in Lake Elsinore, it means there are not a lot of bluff opportunities. There are more like thin value opportunities, not many bluff opportunities. You would think the opposite extreme, Vegas, is a bluffing gold mine, and I did play lag for a lot of 2016, and people folded some incredibly strong hands. Lately, it's been a little different. It's like, if the pot is very small, I feel like it's not worth it, and like, it's gonna take a huge overbet, which will get me so mad every time it fails. When there's like $20 out there, if I wanna bet like 75 to win 20, every time it fails, I'll just be like so annoyed. So I don't do that a ton. And you know what's interesting? Sometimes you put someone, I've talked to my Kansas friend about this, who was in town for March Madness in Vegas. Sometimes you think like, okay, this is a good bluff opportunity. I don't think the guy's that strong. If he doesn't believe the first bullet, he'll believe the second barrel when I bet the next street. And it's like, the bigger the pot gets, your mind kind of changes and you get like a lot more worried, and you're like, okay, the plan was to bluff this guy off with 2 barrels if necessary, but now the pot's getting bigger and he's still in the hand and he's so tight, and you just get like so worried that they have such a nutted hand. It's like, I didn't expect him to really come this far. I thought he kind of might, but now that it's actually happening, I'm getting very worried. He has an incredibly strong hand. I think I should slow down and stop bluffing and just surrender, because these guys only play like top quads or better. So Vegas actually doesn't provide to me a ton of bluff opportunities, like multi-barrel bluffs or like multi-way bluffs, things like that. Out here though, it's like this interesting mix where guys will call pre-flop, not caring about the implied odds they get, not caring about how deep they are, and sometimes just looking to smash the flop. And if they miss, they don't even care what you bet on the flop. It's like, they called, they're staring at the board. When the flop misses, they're just waiting for you to bet so they can fold and move on to the next hand. So like some very small amounts can get bluffs through. Also, because a lot of people chase the progressive high hands, a lot of people play like these really, I mean, there's the potential for a big payoff, but straight flushes hit so incredibly rarely, that people will call like some large raises pre-flop, even though it makes no sense, to try to hit their straight flushes, and they miss the flop so much. You'll like often have multi-way flops with so many people who came nowhere close to connecting to it, so you could get a lot of multi-way bluffs through also. There are also people who like, they don't, sometimes their flop action is very telling. There are people who watch like so much poker on TV and on the internet, and they're so aggressive. If they raise pre-flop and check the flop, that means either they have complete nothing, or maybe they flopped an incredibly strong hand, but that's rare. You know, if someone has like queens on like queen 7-3 rainbow, it's such a strong hand, it's so difficult for his opponent to have something else to call with, he might check one street. But a lot of these guys are so aggressive, like if they ever raise pre-flop and then check the flop, they have nothing. So you can bet a ton in those situations, and if they call, maybe they had like a mid-pocket pair, they're trying to hit a set, or they had like something that's like 3 to a straight flush, they're very curious to see if they turn the straight flush draw and then they would stay in, but they have some pretty weak holdings, so you can get away with a lot of bluffs out here. It's like, it's very loose pre-flop, and the deeper into the hand you get, it's closer to standard. Like, the loosest the people are out here is early in the hand, and then when you get deeper, if they've been passive, they're probably going to give it up. If they've shown no interest, they're probably going to give it up. A lot of large river bets, like, you see a lot more large river bets that are people overvaluing a made hand than like a pure bluff. You might see someone who has like second pair bet very large on the river, and maybe a better hand folds. It doesn't mean that person was bluffing. That person might have just like been so adamant about his read that his opponent didn't have top pair that he thought second pair was good, and he bet it like it was like a full house, and maybe the other guy folds a slightly better hand and it looks like a bluff, but it really wasn't. The deeper into the hand you get, the fewer bluffs you see. People are very loose pre. People are very loose pre and they see bet a lot, but once they slow down, once they make some passive actions, there's actually a lot of bluff opportunities out here, and that makes Council Bluffs, without going like too detailed into like math and specific hand histories, that makes Council Bluffs the city where I bluff the most by far. Very fitting name, Council Bluffs. So Lake Elsinore, it's very stupid a lot of the time. Vegas, just feel like it's not worth it a lot of the time, but out here you have some good like small, medium, large pots and some good opportunities to get a bluff through present themselves. So that's what I was talking about during the hours challenge. I remember there was a day where, even though I had a losing day, a few bluffs got through and kind of made my day not as severe as it would have been otherwise. Probably would have tried none of those three in Vegas nor Lake Elsinore, but tried them all out here that day and they all worked. So bluff a lot in Council Bluffs, not just because of the name, and without getting too technical, those are the reasons why.